A case of baby Raymond.
It's a male baby, 7, 8 months old.
Inside a murder investigation. Top Gun. George Bush at the peak of his popularity. But where does he go from here? And at the movies, scenes from a mall. Woody Allen and Bette Midler shopping for laughs. The Journal with Barbara Frum.
Good evening. There are few crimes more reviled in our society than the killing, intentional or not, of a child. Last summer, the death of a baby in Windsor, Ontario, touched deep, sometimes ugly passions in that city. At the time, CBC News in Windsor was granted permission to follow the police investigation. They gained extraordinary access to the scene of the crime, the chief suspects, and the police investigators themselves, as they began to piece together the evidence. What follows in this report by Colleen McEdwards is an anatomy of that investigation.
I can tell you that at approximately 10 o'clock this morning on July 17th, that Mr. LaRoche called the police and stated that his infant son was taken from his crib. A Sandra Suyer, 15-year-old mother of the 8-month-old male child, and the father, Raymond LaRoche, he's a 19-year-old father. They went to the laundry room at approximately 9:25 a.m. this morning. They left baby Suyer in the crib, in good order, sleeping. They were there approximately 20 minutes. They returned to the apartment, which was unlocked, but the door was closed, and the baby was missing from the crib. And they immediately asked the neighbors, and they learned nothing, and at that time they called the police.
The investigation into the disappearance of baby Raymond started at the parents' apartment in Windsor's working-class West End. The father, 19-year-old Raymond LaRoche, lived common law with the baby's mother, 15-year-old Sandra Suyer. They told police they were doing laundry and were together all the time. When they went upstairs, the baby was gone. When Sandra told the story that same day, it was with a noticeable lack of emotion.
Somebody just took him.
You don't know why or how?
No.
So, let's go do that.
In charge of the investigation, Staff Sergeant Murray Sinnott, a 26-year veteran of the Windsor Police.
You the landlord here, sir?
The initial police strategy, try and find some evidence to support the teenage parent's story.
All we're looking for is some reason to believe them. You know, we're not saying we don't believe them, but common sense says that kind of thing just doesn't happen here. So give me something to put a fork into it and say that, you know, we can believe it, and we better start looking for something else. We're looking for that person that walked off with the kid that's not there now.
The story of the baby's abduction wasn't sitting well, and the teenage parents' explanation of their actions that morning wasn't checking out. The police have already found troubling holes, inconsistencies in Raymond and Sandra's story. They said they came down here and did 2 loads of wash. They took some of the clothes out of the washer and put them in the dryer. Then they took the rest of the clothes upstairs. But there was no damp laundry lying around the apartment when police got there. And why would 2 of them come down here to do laundry? When the police talked to the landlord here, he confirmed their suspicions. Because Asia Conahan saw Sandra, he contradicted the story that the parents had been together all the time they did the laundry.
She went next door to the variety store to get some change or something. And she was definitely alone.
A massive search of the area is underway, but now Murray Sinnott is clearly looking for a body.
The other day I was thinking about this place. It'd be so easy if you wanted to bury something, this would be the spot to do it.
Raymond and Sandra, meanwhile, have been spending much of their time on their balcony. Their behavior is disturbingly public. They seem to think their baby is still alive. Do you still believe your son's alive somewhere?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. But I think he's only got so much time left, though.
Why do you say that?
I just, you know, he's hurt. He misses his dad. He misses his mom.
You guys miss him too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's a cute little one.
It's now 2 days into the investigation. The searchers haven't found anything, and Staff Sergeant Sinnott sends for a lie detector expert to test the parents' story.
The polygraph examination is not conclusive. It's not even admitted in courts of law here. But it's just an investigative aid, and basically we're getting down to that's all we really got here. We got what happened is what those two people tell us happened. That's all we have. We got absolutely no independent witness at all. The one witness that we do have besides them is the apartment manager, and he says that they were separated, and they're both firm that they never left each other's sight. Well, that's not really true then, obviously. So if we have several things that aren't really true, then I guess we have to work a little harder at them.
Raymond and Sandra had agreed to take the polygraph test, but now they've decided to consult with a lawyer. Sandra's father drives them to visit legal aid. A lawyer has advised them not to take the lie detector test.
I have no idea what we're going to do. You know, you're not looking at criminals that are going to go do another crime, so we're going to, we'll stake them out and we'll wait till they go and do it again. This is not a situation like that. It's not like a car thief. All they've got 4. Let's hang tough here and we'll put surveillance on them and we'll watch them do it again. This is not going to happen here. Let's face it. It's hard to. I think I went through that 2 or 3 times. The possibility of somebody just happened to be in the building, and you've been in that building yourself, and the traffic in there is unbelievable. Like, you just couldn't hide for 20 minutes waiting for somebody to leave. Somebody'd see you, and if they go down to the laundry room, how does that person know they're not going to come back? So they go to the apartment, which is normally locked, and it's unlocked. And they walk in and just happen to see a baby and just happen to want to take it, and nobody sees anything happen. It just doesn't make sense. So if that happened, it's really unusual. It's really unusual. If it didn't happen, then somebody's trying to cover something up, and I hope it's not the worst. Yes. Yes, we do need the boat out here. I think we had to. Who was the person that found it?
Well, all 3 of us seen him at the same time. We thought it was a doll, so I came over.
So he was out in the water?
Yeah, no, he was right. He was in on the sand right there, but the tide's been coming in.
Oh, I see. So it was right here.
He started going out again, so I picked him up with my shirt, laid him down here.
Whose shirt is this?
That's mine.
It's a male baby, 7, 8 months old. Hard to guesstimate, but it's certainly, and I would be absolutely astounded if it wasn't our baby. There's no blood there, there's no gash, there's no, obviously, no physical marks to it.
Outrage and shock. That's what the neighbors at the Delia apartment complex say they're feeling tonight.
The discovery of the baby's body fuels an already intense local media interest in the story. Unfettered by the Canadian legal system, Detroit Television tries the case on the air.
Tonight, they started arriving around 7 o'clock, and as you can see, most of them are still here. The majority are parents themselves.
Any indication that this young father has any kind of a record with the cops?
Yeah, he does. They know him pretty well here. Burglary, B&Es. In fact, he's on parole right now.
Any drugs?
No.
No record of drug use?
No record of drug use that I've been able to establish here with them.
Okay, but he's got a record, right?
Definitely, and he's on parole for burglary.
Thank you, Ken. The parents of the little boy did not take a lie detector test. Yesterday, they told us they would. Or there was a report that they would.
Police take Sandra through a gauntlet of angry neighbors to identify the body. Sandra hasn't eaten in days. She is 2.5 months pregnant.
So maybe you should just get the bare facts or Xerox some reports and bring them with you in case he needs it.
Constable Tim Murphy will take the body to Toronto for an autopsy.
So I think he could do stomach contents. That'd be super. And he's going to X-ray the baby, I would think.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dave? Anything else?
No, he's going to check see if the baby's drowned or not.
Well, yeah, he's going to hopefully do cause of death, hopefully. Right.
Unexpectedly, Sandra's stepfather and her aunt show up at the police station.
Do you think they could have had an accident and tried to cover it up? Do you think that...
It's a possibility.
Yeah, that's what's going through most of our minds right now.
That's a possibility.
Because, you got to believe that she's just growing up herself, for Pete's sake. She's only 15.
Right. Yeah.
You think they do that? Think they throw it in the river?
It's possible. Yeah. He's always had
moody,
for animals, even like my wife and I just caught him whipping animals across the room,
He's got a fierce streak now and then,
Yeah, I guess he's rages about everything.
You think of the people that want a kid like that. There's people that have lost one because of a sickness or an illness, and this is just it's just chucked aside like you wouldn't do that to your pet, for Pete's sakes, But we'll get over that. We'll work tomorrow on it.
The case against Raymond continues to build up. A friend of Sandra's has told Detective Don Graber that one night when Raymond, in a rage, tried to punch Sandra,
He goes to punch her again, she ducks. Baby gets a full punch in the head. This is just...
Baby starts to scream or what?
Well, baby's just screaming all the time. She says, another time, they're fighting. He's got Sandra and he's choking her. She's choking her. He says she bangs her head off the wall and she bangs her head off an end table. The baby's screaming in the bedroom. The young girl goes to get the baby. She brings the baby out of the crib. She goes to give it to Ray, hoping to calm the two of them down. Sandra gets up to get the baby. Ray pins her down. And then he takes the baby. She sits down on the couch. Ray then takes the baby and he throws the baby about 6 feet through the air. She caught the baby on the Chesterfield, she says.
Okay, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Here at 8 o'clock.
The autopsy has been completed in Toronto, and the preliminary results are phoned to Sinnott.
He says the preliminary report is going to be much more detailed than he gave me over the phone, but the child was a victim of child abuse. He died as a result of child abuse. He said there was severe bruising to the head, the neck, the face, the legs, the left hand, the buttocks, and the back of the thigh area. And he capitalized the baby was badly brutalized, is the word he used.
Badly brutalized?
Yeah, badly brutalized. He says the small bruise to the side of the head wasn't indicative at all. He says when you peel the scalp back, he says there's massive bruises in there. And I asked him if we should be looking for any kind of a weapon, and he says it was probably a fist or a foot.
There is one fact that can't be determined from the autopsy: the time of death. The baby was in the river too long. It's a disappointment, but then another development. Raymond's father, Michel Laroche, turns up at the station. He gives a statement that describes a confrontation he had with Raymond. Michel said that he smacked his son in the face and demanded the truth about baby Raymond's death.
I said, son, talk to me. Tell me what happened. We did not murder our baby, is what he said. It was an accident. He said it again. It was an accident. We did not murder our baby. I couldn't stop. At this point, I asked him. He was sobbing on the phone. Did you shake the baby? He said, no, I didn't shake the baby. I swear it was an accident. He said, no, it was an accident. I didn't shake the baby. I couldn't stop. This is pretty neat stuff, but, when you get right down to it, I don't think that statement would stand up the way the charter is today.
So because he may have been violent with his son at one point, someone might argue that he was coerced into making that statement.
Yeah. So then this is really the only damaging evidence we have on him at this point. So
it's still not enough for an arrest.
No, I consulted with the Crown Attorney, and we were of the opinion that if this statement doesn't go in, we're back to square one. We don't really have the evidence. I think we have the evidence. I know we have the evidence to charge him, but we don't have the evidence Well, you're never absolute in a conviction, but I think our chances aren't all that great with this one alone.
In the hope that Raymond will incriminate himself, the police apply for and get a court order to bug the apartment and wiretap the phone. The waiting begins. And as they wait, Sandra's parents come in to make a statement. They claim Raymond is into Satanism and crack cocaine, that he brainwashed their daughter and beat her so badly she would never speak out against him.
I think Raymond did it.
What do you think he did?
Lost his temper. I seen him one time take a cat, not even a cat, a kitten. He picked it up and he threw it across 2 rooms. Yeah, through the living room into the kitchen, hit the counter, and back again, and sideways, and then he kicked it around a couple of times. This kitten died.
Did he kill it?
Yeah. Yes, it died.
Yeah, that's it.
And then he looked at Sammy and says, Sammy, get rid of it. I threw Raymond up against the wall at the store, corner of El's store, one day when I was married, when Sandra was pregnant. Because I haven't seen my daughter, no word of a lie. I've not seen my daughter without a bruise somewhere on her body in over a year, since she's been going with Raymond.
So you think he is beating her?
Bruises that I know he is.
Beating her.
And he looked me straight in the face and he said, lady, you gotta fucking prove it. You gotta prove I'm doing it. He laughed
about it.
He thought it was funny.
And then a bombshell that put even more pressure on police.
Channel 7 News has been told exclusively tonight that
Michel Laroche, burdened with the weight of his son's confession, talks to the American media.
Has he confided into you, or is this just a feeling you have?
He has confided in me.
Public pressure is there as opposed to arrest him, but we can't arrest on public pressure. Yeah, with multi-interviews like
Despite the pressure, both Sinnott and the head of criminal investigations, Glenn Stannard, think it's best not to make an arrest now.
If we go now, I think everything is lost. Like, we'll get nothing better. But I can't see us getting worse by waiting.
Who else could have done it? I don't know. 6 days after he reported his baby missing, Raymond Laroche is still sticking to his story and is still granting television interviews.
Talk's cheap.
Some of them say that
I don't care what people say, lawyer. I don't even want to discuss that. My lawyer said
some
don't
say
worry about it.
that you've been violent.
I've been violent. Do I seem violent to you?
Not right now, but I don't know.
You know. Yeah. You know, it doesn't matter.
Have you ever hit Sandra?
No, I haven't.
And what were the bruises on her neck?
Don't ask me questions concerning stuff like that, because that has nothing to do with the
why
missing
not? That's
child.
what people are saying. Why can't? That's a valid question.
That's not a valid question. Ask my lawyer.
The wiretap and the surveillance of Raymond continues for 10 more days. No more evidence is obtained. Deciding that their case will never get any stronger, Staff Sergeant Murray Sinnott arrests Raymond Laroche. The charge, second-degree murder.
Raymond, you have anything to say? No.
More in the middle, Raymond.
It's not an airtight case, but Sinnott feels the accumulation of evidence will convince the jury.
Yeah, so I think you got a history of him being abusive to the kid and having a bad temper. You got opportunity as far as we're concerned. There's nobody else that can put themselves in that house at the time the baby goes missing. He wants us to believe that between 9:15 and 9:40, some mysterious person popped in there and took that kid. And we've gone through this before, that if somebody believes that, as ludicrous as it may be, then we're in trouble. That I think he hasn't got exclusive opportunity, but at this point, the way his alibi is set up, I don't think he can cover himself that way. And the alibi, we've talked about that several times, that we can just shoot that full of holes as far as what he does downstairs in the laundry room. So I think we're in good shape as far as court goes. The Crown, of course, they're always a little pessimistic about it. They want it better and better, and rightly so. If you get complacent and don't do your work thorough, that it'll come out in court, and you only get one kick at the cat. You can't go after him again.
Bail was denied. Raymond spent the next 6 months in the Windsor jail. For all of Sinnott's concerns and all of Laroche's defiant bravado, 29 weeks after he killed his son, Raymond confessed and pleaded guilty to manslaughter. Raymond Laroche was sentenced to 10 years in penitentiary. He will be eligible for parole in 40 months. For The Journal, I'm Colleen McEdwards.